Hello everyone, today we're going to be playing Mono Blue Colossus. What we're trying to do is we're trying to cast a Metalwork Colossus for 0, and we're trying to Alderon our opponents with the Aetherflux Reservoir, also known as the Death Star. So here's the deck tech. Lands are fairly simple. We're looking at 23 lands, 2 Inventor's Fair. Unfortunately, as a legendary land, it'd be a lot more interesting if it wasn't. We could run multiples, but we're only running 2 because we don't want to see more than 1 at a time. 23 land we get away with because the curve is actually 4, and then that's it with a lot of stuff for curve reduction. So we can usually get away with 3 lands, but Inventor's Fair, legendary land gives us 1 colorless. We get, if we've got 3 or more artifacts, we can gain 1 light. If we have 3 or more artifacts, we can sack it, search for another artifact, whether we're going Death Star or at the Aetherflux Reservoir or Metalwork Colossus, depends on the plan at the time. And then 21 islands, so 23 lands. Critical piece to make this all come together is Glint-Nest Crane. 1/3 flyer, not that exciting for 2 mana, but we get to look at the top 4 cards and pick an artifact amongst them, put it in our hand, bury the rest. Absolutely critical for finding the right pieces we need. Definitely 4 of. Key to the City. Kind of looks a little strange in the deck. It is an artifact, so it does work with the Colossus, does work with the Foundry Inspector. Helps us sort through our draws. If we're a little flooded, we can discard the islands and later draw in its place. But the big key is up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn for a card discarded. And make a 10/10 unblockable. That puts the beat down in a hurry. We need cheap artifacts to make the reservoir work. So we're going with Metalspinner's Puzzleknot. 2 mana, cantrip, draws us a card. Later on, if we're really stuck, we can spend 3 more mana and draw another card. We can get the mana through Prophetic Prism or Cultivator's Caravan, so we really have 5 sources of black. We may not see it all the time, but we do want that option. We got 3 of the Metalspinner's Puzzleknot. Then we go to the Prophetic Prism, solid card, cantrips, and gives us mana. Really, it's just there to cantrip itself and work with the Metalwork Colossus and Aetherflux Reservoir. 3 drops, a pair of Cultivator's Caravans. Really, it's a 3-drop mana rock. We may occasionally get to use it as a crewed vehicle with the Foundry Inspector, but we don't count on it, really pulling out damage that way. We have 2 of them. We actually have 5 mana rocks, 5 mana rocks in total, but we have 2 Cultivator's Caravans. Foundry Inspector is 4 of, just makes everything cheaper to cast. You get a couple of them, your 2 drops are free, 3 of them, your 3 drops are free. If you happen to get 4, well, you know how that goes. Now, Engulf The Shore is there. The reason why we're playing mono blue instead of blue-red is for Engulf The Shore. It bounces creatures, so you can use it to delay the game, give you time to Aetherflux or Death Star out, or if you got a couple Metalwork Colossus, as long as you make sure you don't put your 10th island down, you bounce everything else except the 2 Metalworks. Hopefully all your opponents are 10 and less, or 9 and less, and then swing with Colossus for the win. So in that case, you'd hold it for your main step. Otherwise, it would be utilized, on your opponent's turn as an instant if you need it to survive. The combo piece with Aetherflux Reservoir, Paradoxical Outcome. This card's slightly underrated. Most people just use it to bounce the stuff to cast more spells to Alderon your opponent. But it also works, because it's an instant, you can chump block, cast it, get all your stuff back, including your chump blockers, on your turn, untap and start comboing it for Aetherflux. And even to draw a card, if you're stuck, just casting it to draw cards is the way to go. That's why it's 4 of. There are times I do feel it probably should be a 3 of, but we're going to try this. The Aetherflux Reservoir, the Death Star, this is, I would think, I'm going to say primary win condition, but what decks I've played, the times I've played, is actually about 50-50. Maybe even slightly more to the Colossus, because with Keys to the City and Engulf, you can sometimes just pull wins, surprising wins out of the deal with the Colossus. Ideally, I built this initial deck was to Aetherflux Reservoir, cast a bunch of spells, bounce your stuff, do it again, hit 51 life, because you don't hit 50 and then, both die. Hit at least 51 life, whack your opponent for 50 and call it a game. Then we move on to another mana rock, Hedron Archive, 2 mana, solid card, counts 4 for your Metalwork, gives you 2 mana, and worst comes worst, you can draw some more cards if necessary. And then your Metalwork. It's 10/10 that sometimes quite often can be cost for 0. Also sacrifice 2 artifacts, return Metalwork Colossus from give you an end. That's pretty handy, especially if you've got one in your graveyard. You can sacrifice it in when they're trying to exile it or kill it. You can use it to sacrifice to get another one out of your graveyard. We'll move on to the sideboard. Ceremonious Rejection. Pretty obvious what it hits. It hits Eldrazi's, hits the Smuggler's Copters, which is 50% of the meta right now. Hits like Void Shatter, any of the color spells, pretty handy. Aether Meltdown. Pretty much does whatever you need it to slow the damage down. We mainly run this instead of other spells because we want it to work. We want it to provide energy for the Deadlock Trap, which will shut down your planeswalkers, creatures. It definitely has some value. Gates, it's just negate. Hits whatever you need. Revolutionary Rebuff, not sure how I feel on it when it works, especially against the aggro deck, stopping their early 3-1 Veteran Motorist or Depower or something. Feel good? Yes, but I'm not sold on it. Unsubstantiate, that one's a nod to Pummeler deck, let him pump the living hell out of it and bounce it back to his hand. And then Summary Dismissal, well, I shouldn't be explaining what that's for. And Deadlock Trap, we already discussed it. It can tap target creature planeswalker, slow stuff down, 3-drop, and with a little bit of luck with the Aether Meltdown, you should have enough energy to slow things down until you can either combo out with the Death Star or the Colossus. I think that's the deck. We're going to do 4 rounds, and we'll come back when we get them at.